Forgive me, ladies, if you're offended. Like, big booty black hog, fat ass white girl. Rice cakes.
Rice cakes.
Asian girls with
The Podical Sons.
What's up, everybody? I'm Marvelous.
And I'm not your average Joseph.
And we are the Podical Sons, the show that's hilariously inappropriate but intellectual beyond belief. So let's start the show.
Here.
Like, comment, subscribe, all the above, all streaming platforms possible. Podical Sons Podcast.
All the above.
You can see these lovely faces on Spotify and YouTube as well.
Mm-hmm.
And on the socials at Podical Sons Podcast. Not Son, S-O-N-S.
S-O-N-S.
Competition is real, y'all. Stay tuned. Yo.
They're out here, man.
Holy. Yo.
They're out here, man. Wait a sec. That brings me back to the time. Was it iTunes?
Ooh.
I think there was iTunes where there was a dude, but I think it was just the episode. I don't think they were actually called the Podical Sons, but there was an episode that they had that was the Podical Son. So I remember
Podical Son.
The Podical Son.
Son.
So I remember when we first tried to like start doing like the iTunes podcast stuff.
Yeah.
I remember trying to get our stuff on and popping, and that one thing
kept clashing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But by that time, we were already like way past this as far as like episodes were concerned. I don't even think they had more than 5 if they had that much.
No, I think it was like less than 10. I remember it wasn't double digits. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
And I think the other piece, but because I think it was like there was Prodigal, like Jesus.
Right.
I saw Prodigital Sons.
Right.
And then I was like, oh, okay. And then like legit, like let's play nice today. I try to play nice because you guys make me seem like I'm the ultimate villain, like whatever. But like Podical Son,
right?
And we've been doing this for years.
Yeah.
This brings up another point. Like, okay, this all right. Since we're here,
right?
Do you believe that like the individuals need to do history on the landscapes they're entering? And I say that because I even hold that against Kai Cenat a few weeks ago when he went to the BET Awards.
Right.
He didn't know who Robin Thicke was. He didn't know who Wale was.
Right.
He didn't know a good portion of the people and stuff that was there.
Yeah.
You're going to enter a landscape. Shouldn't you at least be known and stuff, whatever? To, I want to say, I don't want to say not everybody, because let's say if they come up with some Caucasian actor that I might not know that might be in some things.
Yeah.
But I want to say the landscape, I should at least know above 70% of the people there.
I mean, and even if he doesn't like want to do the research himself, like he's a big enough entity to hire people to do that sort of stuff to make sure he's prepped.
Okay, we can say that.
Yeah, I mean, but think about it, right? Like the majority of the shows that we know that are on a certain level, they might have a research team.
Okay,
right.
And
then before even they have the guests on the show, they'll do research.
But what if they did do the research for him and he chose not to do it? Because at the end of the day, this blame doesn't fall on the research team. It's him opening up his mouth, who not knowing who the fuck.
It doesn't fall on the research team. You're right.
Right.
But again, like I'm saying, it is his fault for not even having a research team at this point in the game.
That's fair.
Because you're getting invited to spaces that have been around before you were born.
Right.
And so you got to at least know the history of things.
Right.
At the very least.
And then now bring it back to the Podical SON. Never thought to once run a search. And there's no shade to him and stuff like, but I look at it stuff as where if I'm going to run with, let's say a name like the Marvelous Ones.
Yeah.
I'm going to run the Marvelous Ones through Google first, just to see what the fuck pops up.
So, the first thing that I do, regardless of anything else, is .com searches.
So you go .com first?
I go .com searches.
Yeah.
If it does not show up in the .com, I secure it.
Mm.
Then after the .com stuff, then I'll go to social media.
Mm-hmm.
If some way, somehow it doesn't show up in the social media how I want it, then I'll do some sort of derivative of it. But I at least want to know that I can lock in the .com because .com is the money.
Right, because if you, let's say it takes money to make something like, and I'm not calling nobody name, no, I'm calling, let's say rickross.com.
Right.
Right? You run a rickross.com because you know Rick Ross the rapper.
Right.
And everything like that. Now, coming to the socials, there might be actually like a Richard Ross, and he might go by Rick Ross.
Of course.
And everything like that, whatever, too, right?
Yeah.
So now, if he's going to be doing that, the real Rick Ross might be too late to get to the landscape of social media.
Right.
So if he goes like, at Rick Ross, taken, taken, taken.
Yeah.
But this guy just, I think just my thing is that I would break down every word.
Right.
If it's a one word combination and stuff, whatever, I would break down every word.
Yeah.
I would break down, like, if I'm searching Marv, I would search on like marvelous,
Right.
marvelous. I look at Joseph. I look not your average Joseph.
Right.
Then maybe not the one word combination thing, but like just at leaving those pieces to see what the hell pops up. And the same thing, Podical, search, sun, search.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And then when I see it now, I'm like, who is this motherfucker? And there's no shade, and there's no, and
No,
like I said,
no,
it's
no shade.
It's no war, no nothing like that, whatever. But it's just, I find it where for a name that we've had for the longest and stuff, for somebody to come in the landscape with to try and use the name now, I think that's what kind of just had me feeling type of way. But nevertheless, I still went with manners and respect first, because I'm a gangster and a gentleman, so I always show the gentleman side first.
Right.
And you know, we'll see what happens with the landscape and stuff. But you're searching for Podical Sons. SONS.
I mean, we are deep in the years. So if you do miss the S, there's a chance that you still might find us over this new dude.
Yeah.
Because I kid you not, we've been fighting with YouTube over that crap, punching in our name properly, and still be getting prodigal, whatever.
Yeah.
Don't
be playing with Jesus like that, boy. These people come for you. But yeah, man. What about you, Joy, this week?
Knowing that my birthday month is around the corner, so I've been planning, some stuff.
Oh, you ready? So you're ready for 51?
I'm ready for 51.
Nice. That's nice.
Yeah.
There's so many things. Okay, let me ask you this. So, like, I guess the villain of the week in some landscapes would be Jim Jones.
Right.
Jim Jones was on a young lady's live stream and stuff, whatever. There's so many streamers I can't keep up with.
Man.
And so Jim Jones and his woman, Chrissy, they're up there in age.
Right.
Yeah. I would say, me being at 40, I'm at Unk. They're at 40, approaching 50.
Yeah.
So I want to say they're Unk pushing school, right?
Right.
The young ladies call Chrissy auntie. And she said, don't do that. Don't do that. I'm like, now, I feel like people who do that or move like that or react like that, they don't know how to age gracefully.
No, they don't.
Have you come into like you've been 50 or pushing 51 and stuff for your first year of 50 and stuff? Have you made peace with things, or are you acceptance of your age?
No.
If somebody calls you school, do you get offended?
I've been accepted of it a long time ago, and
That's good.
I haven't got school, but I remember I was telling you a few years back, me and Clifton went to this showcase, this music showcase, and I was there, and I was dipped, and this young man passed by. I couldn't tell you what his age. I would suspect probably in between.
They all look like kids to me.
That's what I'm saying. I couldn't tell you the exact age, but if I was to guess, I would say between 18 and maybe 23.
Okay.
Right? And he walked by with this girl, and he looked me up and down and said, "Yo, I like your drip, Unk." And I looked at him, I said, "Yo, thanks." And I took that Unk as a term of respect.
Now,
and nothing else.
how were you when you first heard sir? When you first got a sir? Were you still on that level of acceptance, or it kind of blindsided you? Because it's kind of like some women. I've heard a woman and stuff get a ma'am in front of like another person,
Right.
and like they were kind of like devastated, like low key, right? But they said that was their very first time getting a ma'am.
Yo, my coworker been going through that this week, man. we
word.
got a few temps that come in, and this dude, like I really like him because he's professional. He does his thing, and man is to the tip top.
Okay.
Right, sir and ma'am, and she's like, I want to say she's probably in like her mid-20s. I don't think she's even hit 30s yet, but she's like, oh my gosh, this is the first time I ever got called.
Right. That's what I'm asking.
And she was like, I said, yeah, but he's just showing you. But she did point out that he's always very respectful, right? So she gets that part.
That's the thing you should be grateful
That's
for.
the thing you should be
They
grateful
can look at you
for.
like, Hawk 2. Look here, piece of shit.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
no, they gave you respect like, ma'am, sir.
Yeah. And I mean, and it's funny because I get it. Even from like when my son's girlfriend's around, it's sir. And I'd be like, we're past the formalities now.
So you want her to call you dad?
She don't have to call me dad, but Mr. Joseph is okay.
Oh, okay.
Right? Like Mr. Joseph is okay, right? Like
so you want Mrs. Joseph over sir?
Yeah, why not?
Sir is somewhat simpler.
Sir, yeah, sir. It is so much simpler, but it just seems like it seems impersonal. You know what I mean? It seems like if I don't know you, I'm gonna say sir. But if I know you and we're on like, it doesn't have to be a first name basis, but you know my name, Mr. Joseph is okay.
I still say yes, ma'am, to my mom.
You still say yes, ma'am, to your mom?
Yeah. She's like, if she called me, she's like, Marv, it just have you like, yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
So it's like, and I know her.
But I just say mom.
So if she call you, you'll say yes, mom.
I say yes, mom.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's that'll forever be my name. Like and it's so funny because my wife's parents, it's a first name basis, but only because their kids, it's like a first name basis. They don't call them mom or dad. It's either their first name, right? So I'm like,
were you weirded out by that? Did I catch you off guard? It caught me off guard.
At the beginning, it caught me off guard, right? But then after a while, I was like, okay, I see it.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, but I'm saying like in the beginning, because some people, I look at it as where I have a homie, his mom's named Brenda.
Right.
And then he's like, hold up, Brenda. And then he kind of called and stuff. She's like, what? Like, oh, auntie called and blah, 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 blah. So I'm like, you call your mama Brenda?
Yeah.
Because I remember, like, previously on Marv, like my mom, I was like, yo, I remember I was like freaking 7 years old.
Yeah.
And I got a phone call and stuff for that house. Or my mom got a phone call and stuff, whatever. And somebody's like, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
Is Marvin home? I'm like, I am Marvin.
Right.
This Marva, I do not know who you speak of. She's like, I'm like, Mom, this lady asked for Marva. She's like, yeah, that's me. Who is it? I was like,
let's go back to the fact that your name is Marva.
Your name is Marva? Since when? For 7 years, I've been calling you Mom.
Right.
You have another name?
Right.
She hand me the damn phone. So I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, I need to see some ID now. Like, I don't even know who you are.
Yeah.
And then I remember another time after that, when I was joking around, but I'm like, hey there, Marva. She grabbed me by my shirt. Like, who the fuck you think you're talking to? It's Mom to you. Me and you size?
Yeah.
So I was like, Mom it is.
Mom it is.
So I'm saying when I hear like some people like kind of call their parents out by first name, like, oh, y'all got a different house.
Yeah, I think I call my wife's mom more than she does.
Got it.
But that's just, I mean, and for me, that's just habit.
Yeah, because it's more your nature, what you're used to.
Right.
Got it. I got it.
Yeah, okay. Man. What brought you joy this week, man?
A few things. So I think, well, let's say this. I like the fact that the kids are now officially off for school.
Yes.
Here in Ontario for the next few. So now traffic is gonna look super sexy. It's 1-800 fuck them kids. I'm just joking. But for the summer until I like when they're not around because it kind of frees up the road in the morning.
Frees up the road in the morning.
Oh my gosh! Because then at afternoon I'm not ready. You know, I'm not really in a rush to get home.
Yeah.
But in the morning I'm like trying to just get there and stuff whatever on time and like school buses and stuff, especially like around like my hospital. There's like a school bus that it's 2 school buses. I'm looking like, oh, we're good. You see one stop, you're like, mother. And I just one morning, I think it was so crazy when I was like, I better not catch a school bus because they come around the bend like one area like around 7:50.
Yeah.
And I clock in at 8. So if I get there, I'm like, damn, I hope I don't get a school bus. I got the school bus. I'm like, man, fuck these kids. Then next, you know, whatever, like music wise, whatever, because it's YouTube music.
Yeah.
I just hear, I believe the children are our future. Yeah. I'm like, I'm sorry, God.
Yeah.
This is a sign.
Yeah, God's like, you better watch your mouth.
Yeah. I'm like, why Whitney come on so early in the morning? Whitney doesn't come on in the morning. No. Whitney comes on when I say fuck them kids. Yeah. Sounds like,
it's a sign.
Yeah.
It's a sign, people. It's a sign.
When the universe talks,
you got to listen. You got to listen.
But yeah, and that's one thing and stuff. I think too, the break of the heat wave, man. Yo, the break
was crazy.
Yo, the break of the heat wave and stuff. I promise you, like when the following day when it started dipping down, but then like I think the next day where I was like, feels like it's hoodie weather again. I was like, I can maintain.
Yeah,
because like. Yo, that heat was different. Like the Sunday was one thing because remember the Saturday,
right?
I went out. I was with my people. We went bowling and all that type of stuff and everything like that. The Sunday, it was starting to cook.
Yeah.
The Monday, I felt my face peel off.
The Monday was ridiculous.
I felt my face peel
off. It was
off.
ridiculous.
You know, like the snakes and the lizards had to shed in skin?
Yeah.
I couldn't shed mine and I was hurt.
Yeah. Indoors was my friend.
Yeah.
Indoors was my friend.
Indoors was my thing and stuff, whatever, too. I know a lot of and then the kicker is that I kept saying it and stuff, whatever, the Monday night, I was like, there's gonna be a blackout. There's gonna be a blackout.
Really? Felt like that, eh?
Because everybody had it was that hot. So everybody and their granny has an air conditioning unit plugged up or something going on throughout the night. And I promise you, come the Wednesday morning.
Yeah.
Was it a Wednesday morning? No. From the Tuesday night before the AM time for the Wednesday, I'm like, I knew it. I was calling it from Monday. But yeah, because this is how the great blackout of 2003 popped off, right?
Yeah, one of the dudes that I do business with, he was like, we got on a business call and he was like, oh, my AC cogged out on me. I was like, bruh,
a lot of people.
This is like the dire straits time for it to happen. And then we all started beatboxing. He's like, yeah. One dude was like, yo, you know how much AC repair trucks I've seen like within the last few days?
A lot of people, man. Like I realized that whatever. I went to work on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't really have too much to do and stuff, whatever. But I was like, you know what? I am here for the air conditioned unit. You have to burn this shit any damn way.
Yeah.
And this is high peak time.
Right.
For people to like save money on freaking electricity and stuff, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not at the house.
No. Let me take advantage while I can. Yeah. Yes.
And then when I was talking to some people and stuff, and I'm like, yo, they're like, you know, everybody sharing their heat stories. How did you survive yesterday? How did you survive yesterday? And I heard like about less than 10 people say like the air conditioning unit tapped out. Like, so they were screwed. Like, I think one person had like an army of fans they had to gather up from different locations. Like one person went to one Walmart, another person went to like, I think even one of the grocery stores or somewhere like that, whatever. Superstore.
Okay, yeah.
Superstore had fans and stuff like that. What they had to take what they got because they're not gonna get nobody to look at their unit to possibly the Wednesday because so many people tapped out on the Monday.
Right.
So I guess all those calls went out. And then they couldn't join that queue, so now they were into the Tuesday queue.
Mm-hmm.
So we're here. So beat the heat, man. You ready to cook?
I'm ready to cook, man.
All right. Pun intended. All right. So first poll of the week said, do black men value black women? What do you think we got?
I want to say yes.
Yes, they do. Okay.
Yes, I want to say yes.
So yes, they do came in at 57%.
57%. All right.
A little shaky.
Slightly edged out.
That's shaky. Now, let me say this. Like I want to tell you about my experience with this question
Okay.
throughout the week.
Right.
So
Well, first, before you tell me your experience, what side of the poll were you on?
I was on the yes because I am a black man and I do value black women.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, throughout the course of the week, let's say even start with the Monday, whatever. I had a few people that I know hit me directly and be like, "Yo, what kind of question is that?" Right.
Right.
So I'm like, "What question?" They're like, "The poll." So I'm like, simple, self-explanatory, not too many words.
Yeah.
There's one dyslexic. There's one needs translation to read it. They're like, don't be a smart ass.
Right.
They're like, now this is from a black man. A black man said, of course we value black women.
What?
But
I see you fixing the lip for the butt.
He came in with the thunder.
You go, man.
He came with the thunder. He's like, do black women value black men?
Right.
Right? So I was like, that's not the question.
That's not the question. And then we pull that.
No, well, yeah, somewhat.
It was a soft launch poll.
It was a soft launch. There you go. There you go.
You don't have to work it in.
Yeah, there you go. It was a situation stuff where the guy came in hot, and I tell you, I hear you in the back of my head. I call him the smooth sage sounds.
Yeah,
that's what I call him. Like, remember when punk ass, shout out to Takis and stuff, whatever. You know,
yeah.
You can call a woman toxic, call her out for her toxic ways, and then smooth there with the smooth sage sounds like. You can't call a woman toxic, Marv. And just put right back to eating. Be like, but a woman said I could do it, Smooth. You know what the fuck you talking about, man? And then I almost got assassinated following some days later and stuff, whatever, right? So I just listed the stuff, and then I hear you say, like, there's a lot of bitter men out here. Bitter men are on the rise and stuff, whatever, right? And it's true. Like,
on the rise.
They're on the rise, and much less like the incel community and stuff is growing.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So I said to Set Man and stuff, whatever, I said, what are the demographics of women that you date? He said, majority black women, right?
Right.
He said, if he's to put a percentile on there and stuff, whatever, like 80% black, 20% other.
Okay.
Right? Because he said, like, there might be a few that tickle his fancy and stuff, whatever, and like, shoes are going to shoot.
Right.
I said, cool. So then I said to him and stuff, I'm like, would you go out your way to go help a black woman that you have no sexual interest into,
right,
or anything like that and stuff, and you see her like in need of something, right? So he's like, well, no, because some of these women come with this independent, you think a woman could do it and stuff, whatever. So I was like, okay, so I can see why some black women would say that, whatever, right? So he's like, well, how do you feel? So I'm like, I respect my mom. I respect my nieces, my nieces, my sisters, the female relatives I know, my female friends and everything like that, whatever. I'm like, all of them, I value them.
Right.
Right? I've said it before in this podcast, whatever. I'm like, you can't really be pro-black and go interracial dating. Like, to me.
Yeah.
And I have friends and stuff who are in interracial relationships and stuff, whatever. I'm like, you just gotta fall back.
Right.
This ain't your like proud fight.
Yeah.
Just stay in your lane and just kind of just fall back and stuff, whatever, right? So a woman heard the conversation between him and I.
Okay.
A woman jumped in and stuff and said that you guys love these white women, right? You guys put these white women before us and stuff for that. So I'm like, I knew it was gonna go to an interracial thing and stuff for that. So I just said to her and stuff, and I'm like, if I'm a black man who happens to surf,
right,
and I love surfing,
right,
what's the demographic of North American black women that might know how to swim? Just swim.
Just swim.
Right? She's like, small. So I said, okay, work with me. So I said, now let's bring it to surfing. Do you like to surf? She's like, hell no.
Right.
So I'm like, shit, you think I want some shark to eat me? I'm like, perfect. We're in the same landscape.
Yeah.
If he is in this world or in this tribe where he's finding a whole bunch of surfers and then it's a non-black woman that tickles his fancy or might garner his attention and stuff like that, whatever.
Right.
Why would you be upset with him and think that he doesn't value black women just because this is the woman he chose? You know nothing about said man.
Yeah.
You know nothing about said love story.
Right.
And then she's like, well, why are they calling us bitches and hoes and sluts and tricks in the rap songs?
Right.
So I said, I don't really hear a lot of songs saying like, forgive me, ladies, if you're offended, like big booty black bitch. like I don't hear that.
Yeah.
I just hear big booty bitches. I hear that.
And let's be honest.
Pog. fat ass white girl.
Yes.
Okay.
And there's a lot of them out there claiming the name. They're not even running from it.
And I seen one for the Asian girls, whatever. It's rice cakes.
Rice cakes.
Asian girls with cheeks. The rice cakes. I was like, kind of racist.
Kind of racist, but kind of works.
It kind of works.
Kind of works.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm like, it has the racist residue on it.
Yeah.
But they claimed it. Own it.
Own it. Own it.
You know what I'm saying? Then, like, you know, you obviously, you know, big booty Latinas and stuff like that as well, right?
Yeah.
So I look at it stuff as where I wouldn't put the straight rap demographic and stuff on it, whatever, right? Now, for the woman's sake of argument,
Yeah.
I gave her the K Michelle. No, not her. Another woman. I've talked to people throughout this week.
Right.
I've talked to black men, black women, white men,
Yeah.
white women.
Yeah.
A lot of the non-black.
So this poll was working.
This poll was working. A lot of non-black people, like the white men, said no, black men don't value black women. Because look how they treat them and stuff for them. And then if they get rich and affluential,
right,
they go for money.
Yeah. But they never brought up the whole hip hop talk.
No. A few of them brought up
about the hip. Okay.
Yeah, because even one quoted the whole Nipsey, bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks. Right? And when he said that and stuff for that, I was like,
but how do you know Nipsey was talking
and that's
about
what and this is what I was saying and stuff for that. But he's like, okay. And this white guy considered, like, you know, white chocolate.
Okay.
Because he's like, let's take it back to Uncle Luke.
Okay.
He's like, he went right back to Uncle Luke.
Okay.
And he's like, look at Freaknik. Freaknik wasn't in Nashville. Freaknik was in Atlanta.
This is true. This is
right.
I can't argue with that.
White guy bringing the facts.
I can't argue with that.
And he's like, because like I said, he's in the culture.
Right.
He's in the culture. I even asked him and stuff in the past kind of conversation and stuff. Do you say the N-word? He's like, in my shower when I'm home alone. And I said,
kudos.
I was like, please don't say it past that.
No,
but he's no, I pay bills for that place.
Yeah.
So I'm allowed to do a lot of things in there. If I want to do cocaine and they're like, cocaine is not right, I pay bills in this place to do whatever.
What's ever happening in these walls
is my business.
Is your business.
And I was like, I'm not mad at that, whatever, right? And a few white women and stuff, they're like, no. He said, no. Well, if that be the case and stuff, again, a lot of them brought to interracial dating, but they're like, if that be the case and stuff, whatever, then and then one woman brought up some kind of domestic violence thing.
Yeah.
And she was saying that, yes, white men have a higher domestic violent rate than like men. All anecdotal. I don't know.
Right.
When she was saying it. But she was saying it, she's like, when you hear a statement, she's like, she as a white woman and stuff who grew up in Toronto and stuff like that, whatever, she said she hears a lot of things stuff like, if you date those black guys, they might cheat, they might beat.
Right.
She's like, I never heard that from the white guys and stuff, whatever. She's like, she probably know an uncle or two that might, they're a woman, but that's not a saying for a whole race of men, right? Yeah. And I was like, shit. So our imagery and stuff, whatever, is very, very bad to other races on how we treat our own. And going back to the K Michelle thing, because I gave a few people stuff that I had conversations with. Yeah. But they were saying the stuff that, like, again, certain type of demographic of like black women go hunting for affluential men who might use and abuse their power.
You've been watching a lot of trials on that.
Well, Diddy been doing it to the Filipino community heavy. So Daphne Joy. Oh, sorry, Jane Doe. And Sandra Bento. Like, come on, like,
come on, we know everybody knows who Jane is.
Come on, man.
I've been saying this.
Did the groundwork for us.
I've been saying this for weeks. Why are we still saying Jane? We know who Jane is.
To the non-folks and
to the non-folks.
Yo. Because the black ones know.
Yeah.
The black ones know. But this was an interesting question. So I am still on the side and stuff that I do value black women. And I'm glad you're still on that side and stuff as well.
Yeah.
I think, though, like I said, this is my conversation to the women and stuff, whichever camera angle. This one, we're not monsters that don't appreciate you guys and stuff like that. Most of us come from a black woman and all the above. But it's just, again, like I said, like, product of environment plays a factor. And not only that, but tribal stuff as well. Like, you know, if this woman likes my my weird and all the above, then that's cool. Cause I was always a studious kid, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And I'm still studious and stuff, whatever. I'm a maven now, whatever, right? And I looked at it stuff as where I remember specifically, even when I was doing my bad,
yeah.
I still had a persona of a studious kid.
Right.
And a girl told me point blank, she's like, "You super nerdy. I don't know if I can ever talk to you and stuff. You cute, but you super nerdy."
Right.
And I was like, so I guess, and I'm not using her as all black women,
Nah,
but
nah,
certain
nah.
women
Yeah.
and stuff, whatever. I heard a guy say this one day in a conversation at a party. He's like, most black women looking for Tupac with a Harvard degree. Look at your face.
He's not lying.
So some of us might not fit your standards. And I agree with everybody, man, woman, whatever you identify as, go where you love.
Go
So
where you love.
if a black woman is not feeling me for me being me, I had to put like this. Boom, you see me, white button up and everything like that.
Yeah.
I dated a woman told me point blank and stuff. Not every day is a damn button up day and stuff like that. I'm comfortable in this. So my clothes is pissing you off?
Yeah.
Again. And this is one of the Sharkeisha types with like the multiple hat tattoos, eye tattoo,
Yeah.
and everything like that. And I'm like, yo, I'm comfortable. I'm vibing.
Yeah.
So I guess I might not fit your criteria.
No,
So I might as well
the
go
cup
where
of
I fit the
tea- The cup
criteria.
of tea.
Yeah. So that part.
That part.
All right. Next poll is this year going fast or slow to you? And what do you think the poll said?
It's got to be the fastest got to outweigh this.
Give me a hell yeah. Yo.
Was it? We're in the high 80s?
100.
100.
100. I thought about it and stuff, whatever, too. I'm not even gonna lie to you, Smooth. I promise you. That snowmageddon we had in February,
Right?
it feels like a faint memory.
Hmm.
It feels that far back when it was still this month. It was like a few months ago and stuff like that, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So many things have happened and stuff, whatever. I want to say from like politics to technology to like, let's say, I guess with the Diddy stuff and like all these other landscape of things and stuff like that, whatever. And then we're like, welcome to June. Like, bye, June.
By June.
And then July is like, by the time you get this episode, July will be here.
Yeah.
Happy Canada Day to the folks that get this on the 1st. And yeah, happy July 4th if you still believe in that on the American side.
I used to be like, I hate Mondays because I gotta leave the weekend and go into the work week.
Yeah.
But I kid you not, the weekends are starting to blend for me.
One dude said the same thing and stuff at work, right? Because he said he woke up on Thursday and stuff, and he's like, shit, I'm letting my nuts hang and da 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 and all this type of stuff tomorrow and everything like that. He said he'll cut the grass in like in the afternoon or something before like because he said he had he has to go meet up with some friends for drinks.
Yeah.
So he said he'll go do that and stuff, whatever, right? And somebody's like, oh, you off tomorrow? He's like, off tomorrow? We don't work on Saturdays. And he's like, today's Thursday, sir. Thursday. He's like, oh, fuck. He said it nice and loud. I was like, you good? He's like, I honestly thought it was. He's like, I don't know if I can survive one more day. I was like, you poor thing.
You poor thing.
But yeah, he made it. And I was like, these days feel blended. He said, Marv, I don't know which is going, which is not, whatever. Because he's like, his birthday, his particular birthday is June 1st.
Okay.
And he said to know for a fact that July 1st is right there. He's like, we just popped bottles and had cake for my birthday and stuff, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Because I had it with him and everything. I was like, time waits for no man.
Waits for no man. Like I said, it's literally blending. It's like, I can, it's before, it's like, all right, we're going to record on Sunday. Everything will be kosher. I'll see you next week. It's like I see you the next day.
I know.
It's like I see you the next day and we're recording once again.
I know. Because I even looked at stuff and I was like, yo, don't worry, we're coming back in full force and stuff on the social media side, folks, and stuff. Because I looked, I'm like, damn, we haven't done a post since like June 15th. I was like, oh, that was like a few days ago. I'm like, no, the fuck it ain't. I was like,
It's
yo,
not.
I was like, today's the 20th.
It's not. No, right. And I'm
That's
like, stuff is moving so quick that I'm like, okay, let me try and get what I can get to,
Mhm.
and then figure it out after that.
Yeah.
Because you're right. It's just like bam, 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 bam.
Sound like
June is over. We're half the way through 2025.
let's go. I'm for it. I'm for it. I just look at it stuff as where if you this is the time when we always talk about savoring moments.
Yeah.
You need to fully savor every moment that you are in.
Yeah.
Even a simple ass car ride, take in the sights and all the above. Don't let these drivers piss you off. You might not never see this person again after this 90-second interaction you have with them. Just savor the moment. Just know for a fact the
Savor it.
people that die in car accidents every damn day and stuff, whatever. Just be with your kids, be with your families, be
Yeah.
with your loved ones.
Yeah.
Enjoy the laughs. Have like 7 good laughs out of the friggin' day and stuff like that, whatever, right? Eat well, sleep well, like enjoy some shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, because before you know this stuff, you're like, I didn't have time. Well, we don't wait for you.
Mhm.
All right.
All right.
Let's start with the take that trials.
So take that trials.
Okay, it's pretty much over now.
It's
pretty much over now. So these getting off?
I think they're still gonna get them.
How many?
Just maybe on two counts
2 counts of what?
of I think there's three or 4 counts altogether. But I think the 2 counts, I think they do have enough for the I don't think they have enough for the racketeering. But the transferring for
trafficking?
the sex trafficking across states, I think they did prove that with a lot of the receipts. And then the 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 coercion, like the getting other people a part of his team to actually go in on and do some of the dirty work. I think the receipts show some of that too.
So I'm thinking 1 year.
Yeah.
1 year and 3 1 year and 3 years of probation.
1 year and 3 years of probation.
1 year and 3 years of probation and stuff, whatever. Because I want to say, don't forget like the Steve Stout stuff.
Right.
Because when the Steve Stout thing happened with the Hate Me Now video thing, and Diddy and 2 other guys went into Steve Stout's office, broke his jaw and his arm and everything like that.
Yeah.
He got 1 day for anger management for that.
Right.
Right. So this is not his first offense.
Yeah.
In like the state of New York.
Well, how do minimum sentences work? Like, can they give you less than a minimum sentence? Because some of these things that he's charged for, the minimum sentence is like 15 years.
Right, but I think some of them and stuff, whatever, like have been disproven and stuff throughout the court. So that's what I'm saying. Like,
right, okay.
I feel like, let's say the one woman and stuff, one of Cassie's friends said that, he dangled her off the balcony.
Yeah.
Defense ate that up and said like he wasn't even in the same state that she was in.
Right.
And then she said, oh, there's a lot of drugs that they were doing and stuff, whatever, to and fro and all the above. I think her name is Capricorn Clark.
Yes.
One of the women that worked for him and stuff like that, whatever.
Yes.
The one with the son that's on the spectrum, and she did with it. Again, for her to say that, the lie detector test, he had her strapped up because she used to work for Suge, the threats to her going back to try and call and say, hey, I need work.
Yeah.
I have an autistic son I need to provide for and stuff, and he's nonverbal and everything like that.
Yeah.
For her making the effort, like, was he really that bad? If you're going to go back to go look for employment and everything like that? And again, so I look at it stuff as where a lot of these things, like the court has kind of thrown. Hell, the judge asked him if he had anything to say on his own behalf and stuff. He said, no, Your Honor. And might I add, you're doing a great job.
Right, right.
And then the sketches of the judge is like, and he said, fuck it, let it rock.
And see, and this is always the thought to me. Do you think in certain situations it's better to have trial by jury or trial by a judge itself? Because I think jury, right.
Always jury. And always jury, because I look at it stuff as where no shade to any judges and everybody who bust their ass to be a judge.
Yeah.
they can't see things on the eye of a normal person.
Right.
And I say it just like that. I'm not saying Diddy is normal, but I look at it stuff as where a judge is in an upper echelon of type of society, high regarded,
Right.
right? So since they're in a person of high regard, I feel like their view might be obscured. Like you might get a Judge Mathis every now and then, like, I came from the streets. I never forgot where I came from.
Yeah.
And then you might get somebody and stuff that might be like, yo, my parents get paid my way. I bust my ass to go to stay at Stanford. They pay for everything and stuff for her Ivy League school. All we know is Beverly Hills. So now you come in with charges and stuff like this, whatever. I'm like, swine, this is beneath me.
Yeah.
Lock him up.
Yeah.
I'm throwing a book. Like, jury.
Because
at least the jury and stuff I look at is where I might have some people that might be of my demographic.
Yeah.
I might be, let's say, still of my peers and my age.
Right.
But I look at it stuff as where at least different points of view where how my situation, like if I'm the one being like accused,
Yeah.
my situation might be viewed from different multiple eyes of my peers, jury of my peers.
I asked that question because there's I can't remember the name of the billionaire, but he ran the company, Canadian company called Magna, or Magma or Magna.
Okay.
It's they deal with auto parts, and he's got a whole bunch of accusations that have come across for him within a period of, I want to say, decades, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he recently asked for a trial by judge, and I think that he got that. But I think the reason why he asked for that is that
billionaire, Doc.
billionaire, and I think the reason why he asked for that though is because the lawyers probably see something like technicalities that he can get off on. And I always thought, well, if you're doing it by jury, right? The juries don't necessarily have to go by technicality, and a lot of times they may go by personal feelings, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas a judge is more apt to go off of technicalities because he's a judge. And no judge wants to be, I wouldn't say, they don't want to be overturned because of a technicality.
Right.
So I see that working in a person's favor in that situation. But if it's not anything that has a technicality, I'm going with jury. I'm definitely going with jury and hoping that my lawyer does enough, because you only have to sway, what is it, one person? It's got
what for
for you to be found guilty
for the judge?
Yeah, no for jury.
No, 12.
12.
Yeah, you're judged by 12.
You're judged by 12, but I'm saying you only have to
the foreman is the one that speaks for the 12.
The foreman that speaks for the 12.
Yeah.
But does all 12 have to be in agreement?
They all have to be in agreement before they even make it back out. So that's the reason why, like, something like jury duty can last damn near forever.
Right.
In some cases and stuff for that, because it's kind of like all 12 had to be on agreement.
Yes.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. You only have to put a chink in one.
No, not really. Because if the juror, if the foreman and stuff is saying not guilty and everybody else is saying guilty and stuff like that, they would call mutiny on the foreman.
Okay.
Because they're like, we didn't agree to all of this. We all have to be on agreement.
Right.
So it's not just that one person.
Right.
That one person who you're hoping for. You ever seen the movie 12 Angry Jurors?
No, I haven't seen it.
With like, I think John Lemon. And it's kind of like with him, everybody, I think Tony Danza was in this movie and everything like that. And Tony Danza's like, look, I got a Mets game to go to.
Yeah.
Let's get this the fuck up out of here. Everything is guilty. And the man's like, hold up. This is somebody's life.
Right, yeah.
We need to look at this. And that one person, not the foreman, that one person, the one juror, swayed the rest of them, showed the evidence. They looked at things, stuff to like, fuck, this kid is actually not guilty.
Right.
But they just wanted to open and shut because of what the evidence that was just presented to them, but no one was really examining it because the kid came from a fucked up life, a harsh world, and it only just wrong place, wrong time.
Right.
So again, a lot of them might look at stuff as like, black guy, you seem like you have any kind of degrees or anything under your belt. No. Where do you live? Not in Castlemore? No. Guilty.
Right.
Yeah, no.
Right.
Come see my shit. Come understand my stuff. Don't play with my life. I'm begging you.
Right.
Please. But Yeah.
So do you think he's going to get just a year and maybe a few?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like a year. The Cassie stuff and like Daphne Joy. I'm calling it Daphne Joy now. I'm sorry. It's all right. Cat's out of the bag.
It's
With those
trial's pretty much over anyway. So
with those aspects and stuff, whatever, everything was willing. And to my knowledge and stuff, whatever, when you have a willing man that's willing to get someone else's semen on your nipples,
right.
and a woman that's willing to do all of that, take the ejaculation and rub it on the man's nipples,
Right.
they're called swingers. Where I come from.
So you feel like there's no coercion in there at whatsoever?
Well, coercion.
You feel like they're willing. Like, okay, I can see with Jane Daphne.
Jane Daphne. Jane Joy.
Jane Joy. I can see with her.
Yeah.
Right? But then with the Cassie, I can see some of it maybe at the beginning. Yes, willing. But then looking at it and saying, okay, this is not what I signed up for. I thought I was doing it for the purpose of love, but I'm not feeling it no more. And then saying that, but then still forced to be doing it.
I don't like. No, this is where villain of the week goes to Marv. No, I don't like the fact that we keep removing accountability from Cassie, from Daphne Joy, from specific women and everything, and like involved with this case.
Right.
Because I look at it stuff as where, once again, there was a point where he never turned on. Like, if you're a Cassie,
yeah,
he's never turned on you yet. This is the beginning. You just start dating this man, right?
Of course, yeah.
You know who he is, his power, his influence, and everything like that, whatever. And let's say he's having an argument with someone like me.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And my mom always told me, when you're with somebody, watch how they treat the help. Right? So if you go out to a restaurant and you see the woman like spazzing out, or like in this case, you see the man treating like the staff like, are you stupid? Throw the champagne, spit Cristal, whatever it was back then and stuff on the person.
Yeah.
This is your pre-warning sign to get the fuck up out of Dodge.
Right.
Because if they did it to this person, what do you think they might do to you? Right? So I look at it stuff as where she's like, he's not going to do it to me until he does the unthinkable to her, whatever, right?
Right.
It's inexcusable what he did to that woman.
Yes.
Inexcusable.
Yes.
But I look at it stuff as where, again, the text messages, how is he coercing you for you to say, oh, I miss you, I miss fucking you, and all those other saucy text messages, when he and his phone is in one other location.
Right.
She is in a whole nother location. She's sending these things on her free will.
Right.
He coerced her to send the saucy messages.
But then there's parts where there's parts where there was actual blackmail. Like there's parts where his mom sent like 10 grand for him not to send, like not for him to send videos or whatever he was sending.
Oh, for Cassie's mom, like with the 20 rags.
Yeah.
Without what of course,
right.
with that aspect and stuff like whatever, right? But then again, they got the money back.
Yeah, they did get the money back. They got it back.
They got the money back.
But again, like when you look at it, why did they get the money back? They got the money back because he knew, like, okay, if I was ever to keep this money, there's gonna be some hell to pay if this shit ever came out, right? So I'm like, I would expect for him to give that money back. I don't expect him to keep it. I don't even expect him to ask for it in the first place, but I think it was just a power move to say, I can do this, I will do this.
But this is not a trial about if he's a monster. This is trials about sex trafficking and racketeering.
Right.
We know he's a monster.
Yeah.
He's being trialed for the sex trafficking, and the racketeering.
Yeah.
Where is that racketeering?
But they got the receipts for it. Well, not the racketeering, the sex tracficking. They got the receipts for it.
But no, I'm talking about that part with the whole intimidation thing with the mom and the thing.
But there's something.
Where does that lie into those charges?
But that's what I'm saying. They're not looking to prove that with the charges. They brought the receipts to prove, okay, the sex trafficking, there's plane tickets that prove that these guys were moved from state to state, right? So that counts as the trafficking, right? The racketeering, they got receipts of the phone calls of his employees saying, "Okay, we've done this." I get
that. I'm talking about the Cassie's mom and the 20 grand.
Yeah,
everything they've brought to light so far, or a good portion of things, is just to make him look more like a monster. We already know he's a monster. What are the things we're going to use to sink him? Yes, the receipts
Right.
for those things. But again, when you have, what is it, the Punisher guy?
Yeah.
When the Punisher guy is making statements and stuff like Cassie was willing and ready and all of the above, and they had multiple occasions until he realized that the voice that he's hearing on the other side of the room
Yeah.
is Diddy. Now he can't perform no more and all of the above. But again, as a male escort, if he wanted to take it to it and stuff for them to do that type of stuff,
Yeah.
he was willing and he got paid.
And I think
And a lot of he's got paid.
And I think the prosecution realized that. So after that, they started focusing heavily on just, okay, you know what? We need to prove these receipts about the taking across the border, and we need to prove these receipts that he had people on staff that knew what was going on, but felt, and I don't know if they successfully like made that point that
they ain't proved shit to make.
They ain't prove it.
They ain't
But
proved shit.
it's up to the jury to decide.
Yeah,
It's up to the jury to decide.
That's why I'm looking at stuff. I'm like, they want to give him something.
Yeah.
And I guess, and that's what I'm saying. The year would definitely try to bleed him some more from his funds.
Oh yeah.
Because I feel like the more you bleed him from his funds, the less power he's going to have. Because the court of public appeal is different now.
Yeah.
Like the people look at him again like a monster. So I look at it stuff as where it takes a lot for certain people to say, I want to attach myself to that person and make this money again. It's possible, but it takes a lot.
I'm not sure if he's got to fear this this trial more than he's got to fear the trials that are coming up.
The civils?
The civils.
I think that you see with the civies and stuff, for the civies are going to drain him some more, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I think when those civies and stuff, whatever, come, he has to be prepared and stuff to say, like, some he might have to settle, some he might have to fight.
Yeah.
Again, at one time, Sean John Combs was a billionaire.
Right.
And throughout the course of years and stuff, whatever, those funds being depleted, especially like during this saga from, let's say when Cassie got the check cut the November 17th, because she issued a paperwork for the 16th of November 2023. Hey, I'm on my Diddy facts.
It's like, yo.
And then it was paid within 24 hours and stuff, right?
Right.
Like I said, like there's a long list. And I remember Rolling Stones magazine said it too, where they brought so many things and stuff kind of back up in my head and stuff about with Diddy. Like, I mean, monster is definitely what's painted and stuff kind of across the board.
Yeah.
Because I remember I didn't know exactly what took place when him and J. Cole went at it.
Yeah.
But Rolling Stones broke it down at the time when I saw it and stuff. And Rolling Stones is like, it was more of a situation because Control came out.
Right.
You know, Diddy has New York tatted on his arm.
Right.
So when he saw Kendrick Lamar at a party.
Right.
And he's like, yo, what the fuck you mean you're the king of the East Coast and West Coast? I got New York right here. So when I guess he's kind of getting in his face,
yeah,
J. Cole stepped in and then a scuffle kind of happened. Because I think the legendary fall-offs, the fall-off album.
Yeah.
I can't remember the track. I think Let Go or Let My Hands Go, something like that. But basically he's saying like on that track, I think like 8 or 9 on that album, basically saying like my last fight I had was with Diddy.
Right.
Right. And then we have rumors that he punched Drake over what is it, 0 to 100.
I was gonna say the Drake incident.
Right. So I'm looking at stuff, I'm like, again, he has a stack of these things and stuff, whatever. Yes, monster. What can stick in court and put the monster away? Not too much.
Right.
So that's why I'm like, don't be surprised he start, coming down those stairs, whatever. Bad boy. Take that, take that, take that. He's not guilty. I hear it. I hear it in my head, but I'm like, you know what? I want to give the courts the benefit of the doubt because again, pertaining to the payments, not so much, because remember, he gave Cassie the money.
Right.
So it's kind of like, smooth, I gave you $10,000. Whatever you do with the $10,000 is your business.
Right.
Now, if she wants to pay for these people, to be like, we're a loving couple. We're swingers.
Yeah.
If she wants to spice up the bedroom,
yeah,
he's happy for it and stuff, right? So I don't know. I don't see enough to stick him.
It's gonna be an interesting next couple days. So do you think they're gonna? Because we're recording on Sunday. You're gonna get this on Tuesday. You think we're gonna have the verdict before the Tuesday?
I don't know. For a court case we had to wait for so long for whatever. I can't expect a quick ass Pop-Tart.
Okay.
Anything is possible though. I'm not putting a timeline on it. I can say this before the ending of this year, we would have it.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's all I can. That's the only thing I can bet on and stuff like that. And
I think
like,
before the month of July is over, we'll have it.
the month of July. Yeah, we can work with that.
Yeah.
We can work with that.
Yeah.
All right. So we just excuse Cassie from everything though. We excuse Jane Joy.
Nah, I don't think we can excuse her from everything because, like you said, she got up to the point where she could have returned, and then she went into the point of no return.
No return.
Yeah.
100 Women versus Accountability. Who you got?
I've been meeting some accountable women lately.
Really?
Yes, actually, it's been refreshing.
Okay.
It's actually been refreshing.
Okay.
So
now
we might have to drop the odds down.
Okay.
50 against accountability. I'm a roll with accountability. I'm a roll with accountability.
Because I look at it stuff as like, for me, I know when I run into a healed and evolved woman.
Yeah.
When they hold themselves accountable to like even the smaller shit.
Yeah.
Right? Because even into the smaller things and stuff, you're like, my bad, fucked up and everything. But if you're like, well, if you didn't do this, that, and the third, no. And I think in a deeper or greater kind of conversation level, if they can honestly like say like, I've done this wrong,
Yeah.
or what I've done and stuff, or I could have done this better,
Yeah.
then that was it. I remember the dopest thing, my mom and stuff for me, like for the level of accountability from a woman. I think one day, my mom, after I left, I was living here and I went back to go visit and stuff like that. She made porridge and shit one Saturday and everything like that. Come home and we were talking and stuff for them. She's like, I do want to apologize to you. We're in conversation and she's like, I want to apologize to you for your father.
Right.
So I'm like, what do you mean?
Right.
And she's like, well, if I was better on my choices of man,
right.
you probably would have had a different father and it would have dictated a different upbringing.
Right.
Right. But the type of man that I chose at the time and stuff, and I chose to keep you.
Yeah.
It kind of played out the cards to this level.
Yeah.
So I had to put in extra work to kind of make sure you didn't fall to the wayside and stuff like that. Warren Neff, if I chose a proper man,
right,
or a proper man of like I want to say, well, like a proper head on his shoulders.
Yeah.
The outcome would have been so much different and stuff and probably so much better and stuff like that, whatever, right?
Okay.
But she said she was young having a child
right.
in her 20s.
Right.
So she had to kind of get the gist of that and stuff like that. But again, that's a healed and evolved woman to admit where she went wrong.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know how many people can honestly say that in certain circumstances pertain to like their children or like the baby daddies that might be missing.
Right.
Right? Because that's a level of accountability where this woman received this man,
yeah,
didn't know too much about him, but said, I'm going to have this child for him, and then realized that she had to do damn near everything her damn self and stuff, whatever, and then be like, it's his fault why he do shit. He living life popping bottles, wherever the fuck.
Right.
You chose this individual.
Yeah.
You have to hold the fact that you made the bad choice, poor choice in a partner.
Right.
Or a father for your child.
Right.
Not too many women can admit that.
No.
That's why I go back to accountability wins, flawless victory. Let's talk about Jim Jones real quick.
Okay.
The rapper, not Jonestown, Kool-Aid. No, we're not going to.
Well, I mean, if you're following him right now, you're drinking the Kool-Aid.
Oh, okay. Do you have beef with Jones? Like, let me just.
I have beef with Jones.
No, I'm just like, okay, you know what he said about Nas. Like,
yeah.
Do you believe that Jim Jones is wrong for saying that he is better than Nas?
No.
Talk about it.
Nah, I like that energy. Why? If I feel that I'm better than somebody, I'm gonna say it. Now, whether that's true or not is a different story. But that's not gonna stop me from saying it. I gotta believe in myself 100%.
I feel the same way.
Yeah,
I feel the same way. That's why I was shocked. Jim Jones. Let's say this from when he said it on the Club Shay Shay.
Yeah.
First.
Yeah.
And then he said it on Fat Joe and Jada's show.
Right.
On Club Shay Shay, when he said it, I looked at it and stuff when the man said, I think a lot of people bypass this part.
Yeah.
I don't know. He said, I used to look up to Nas.
Yes.
Nas came out when he was in high school.
Yes.
He wanted to dress and did and looked like Nas at a period of time.
Yeah.
Eventually, the man's idol became his rival.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you're in that landscape. The person that came to mind when I heard him talking was Jason Tatum and LeBron. You ever seen a photo of young Tatum
Yeah.
and LeBron?
Yeah.
Now they both have championships under their belt.
Yeah.
And that man has went head to head with LeBron on different occasions.
Of course.
And all the above. So I'm like, there's gonna come a point where Jason Tatum's gonna feel like he's better than LeBron.
Of course.
Because he needs to beat LeBron in order to get to like the next level in his life at the time.
Right.
So I look at it stuff as like, why are we coming for Jim Jones?
I think more or less people are saying you're wrong. Because again, if we look at go back to your Tatum and LeBron argument, yes, Tatum feels that he's better, but the facts don't support that.
True, but
so it's the same thing. What people are arguing, you can feel, and that's what I'm saying. You can feel however you want to feel. I'm going to tell you what the facts say. And I think that's what people are just basically saying. Listen, and for me, it was actually not even the Club Shay Shay. It was the one podcast that had the 20-year-old something kid on there.
I don't know that.
Okay, so that's how it started off for me. Was they were asking who did they think was better, and the 20-year-old was like, Jim Jones to him had more hits than Nas. And he was basically saying, and I don't blame him either, because this is from his 20-year-old perspective. Nas had already had what we would call hits or notoriety before this kid was probably born.
Correct.
Right? He's saying at the time when he's growing up, it was the Jim Jones era. So we're at club. He's like, I ain't never heard nobody say, yo, play that Nas. But I heard people say, play that Jim Jones.
Play that Dipset.
Right? Play that Dipset. And I'm like, okay, well, I mean, you're speaking from your perspective and you're not wrong. This is from your perspective. So I got to respect that. But people were like, nah, you got to do your history. You got to do this, that, and that.
It goes back to my question, what I was saying earlier.
It goes back to the question, what you were saying earlier.
Okay.
You got to do your history and say, and figure out, Nas is, yeah, Jim Jones is there, but you can't say Jim Jones is a better rapper than Nas. So I was like, yeah, but you really think these 20-year-olds are going to go out there and do history? It's proven that they don't. Right?
Hi, Chat GPT.
You figure, right? Because it's as simple as doing that.
Yeah.
Right? But you figure that you don't. Then I seen the clip right after where he's on the Jada and Joe, the Fat Joe show, right? And he says he's got more Billboard hits than Nas, right? When he said that, somebody reposted it and then posted the facts. And no, Nas got more Billboard hits than you.
Jim Jones as solo artist.
As Jim Jones as solo artist, did they put anything? I don't know if they put any Dipset stuff on there. I have to go back and look.
Okay.
But Nas had more Billboard stuff than him. So it's like, okay, no, you don't have more Billboard hits than Nas. You may feel that you're better rap, and that's okay. Like, you're supposed to.
You're supposed to.
In this type of, and we always say, like, rap is a contact sport.
I think with just men in general doing certain type of things and stuff, whatever, it's more of a competition kind of thing. Just in general. Like, if you play baseball and I play baseball, I'm going to say my team is better than your team.
Right.
Right? I look at it stuff as where and I'll stand on this. I might sound like Jim Jones and stuff, whatever. I feel like our podcast is better than Joe Rogan's podcast. Changed my mind. Joe Rogan and stuff would sit there for some time and stuff, whatever, and give mad fake news, like from like, what was the shit we're talking with the horse thing? The hydrochloroquines and all that type of stuff, and a lot of fake news. Michelle Obama is a man,
right?
And all those type of statements and everything like that, whatever. And I'm looking at stuff as like, he just don't give a damn.
Yeah.
And these are not facts.
Right.
And we might just be out here and be like, you know what? We might know, we might not know, allegedly,
right?
All the type of stuff, but we know what we know, and this is the consensus and stuff like that, whatever. Our show is shorter than his show.
Right.
And then again, Joe Rogan is the GOAT.
Yeah.
But I look at the stuff as, again, there's going to come a time where before I became a podcaster, wow, he was an idol.
Yeah.
Now he's a rival.
Yeah. 100%.
So now Marvin's Jim Jones now.
And that's what I'm saying. I don't mind that energy. I don't mind that energy because I'm bringing that same energy too.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let me ask you this now. With the rise of tech,
do
most people take the internet safety for granted?
I think so.
Because I mean, we got slapped with some hateration hacker motherfuckers this week.
It's so funny, man, because I don't think my whole family got hit. I've been putting out fires this whole week, but people just
everybody.
But I was like, I'm looking at him. I was like, calm down. I'm a veteran of these things. Because remember, not too long ago, this, you know what I mean? I've been going through this shit. So I mean, so I was like, okay, calm down. Don't worry. I know what to do. I know this, that, and the third. You gotta do this. You gotta do that. And I'm like, oh my God, you're saying? I said, no, it's just I've been through it, so I know what to expect and I know how to handle certain situations. But at the same time,
okay,
there's a few things that got caught lacking on, and I had to go back and say, okay, you know what? This needs to be tightened up. This needs to be tightened up. This needs to be tightened up. And I tend to think it's when things go smooth for so long is when you kind of ease up and let your guard down. And I think
that's called caught slipping.
Yeah, and that's what got me.
See, so my thing is I look at it as where I work for an organization and stuff, right? I work for a big organization, and I want to say every few months you have to change your login information.
Same here,
right? And let's say most of the social media landscapes, it's not on the landscape where they're promoting you to change your login so often. I forget my login sometimes and stuff until like recently. I was like, no, let me tighten up some shit. Whatever. Because I was looking at stuff like my question to the masses of people and stuff are like, have you changed your passwords recently? Right.
Right.
And a lot of people saying no.
Yeah.
Because they're so they've again got so laxed until like, well, it's not bad until it happens. But then when it happens, think about all the legwork you have to do compared to like just going in there and changing a few characters, a few keys, locking it somewhere else and safekeeping and stuff with her and continue on regular schedule programming.
Yeah.
Compared to like, well, we could have been in a situation where our content could have been deleted.
Right.
Right. Everything erased, or it could have been like AI is different. I just don't want nobody pop a digital dick in my mouth on some AI shit, whatever. Like, so that's why I'm looking like, thank God. Because now people like they don't believe nothing. They believe everything.
No,
they want to read nothing. They want to fact check nothing. Whatever.
You guys, the Rasta monkey and the Rasta gorilla, they're not real. I'm just putting it out there.
Oh, the Sasquatch thing, whatever. With the my God, these people, they need to get their mind right. But that aspect of stuff, I think for the internet itself, we use the internet so easy, so laxed, and so all of the above.
Yeah.
And this is everybody from like their phones and stuff. I want to say, allegedly, of what I've heard, the stuff is Apple's like defense is a little bit more better than the Android world.
Right.
Because I heard a few Android people and stuff that caught viruses on their phone from like doing other shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And I look at it stuff as where, why would you think that you're safe from when we all know the word hacker or hackers?
Yeah.
That you can't be touched like everybody else who got touched.
And we'll be the first to say this. There is no level of security that's 100%. And I think within this last bout proved it, because quite a few of our emails and the places that we post on and have a presence on have two-step verification factors.
Right.
That did not help
Kick
at
it
all.
not one bit.
That did not help at all, right? So it's like none of these things are 100%, but you do have to be proactive. And I think that's a lot of people's problem as well. It's like they feel because that they may have like a two-step verification, they're safe and they don't have to follow this whole change your they're in that landscape where you don't always have to constantly change things. Moreover, recently, a lot of stuff that I deal with now, even with my workplace, when I started, I had to download the Microsoft Authenticator.
Same.
Yeah.
I have it down at work, and then I had to do the thing on the phone. I was like, y'all gotta pay my phone bill for me to keep it.
I mean, it's my same thing.
Oh, you say the same thing?
I say it all the time, man, at work, man. I was like, listen, man, it's like you're overreaching now when you're in my spot.
You're in my spot.
You're in my spot.
You're not paying for my spot, whatever. But yeah.
But anyway, I digress because now I realize, okay, you know what? I have it on my phone.
Mhm.
I have Google Authenticator for some of the stuff that has forced me to get that. I have it on my phone. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna utilize this stuff and have not just the two-step verification, but the authenticator as well. So, a lot of these things that I have now have been doubled up. And it's just that extra layer of protection. Even with that extra layer of protection, like I said again, these hackers are out there. Once they get their hand on how to just use this AI to their advantage, it's gonna be even nuts. Like, if you think like these hackers are sitting down cracking passwords, within a few days, AI is gonna be able to do it within hours. And this is the world that we're entering now. So I think people really have to be more vigilant, especially in this day and age.
Is the AI apocalypse inevitable?
I'm optimistic that.
But be a realist.
I'm optimistic that we'll put in the safeguards. I don't know. Being a realist, I don't know how well the safeguards will work.
Because I look at the stuff as like throughout the history of man itself, you can't stop crime.
No,
right?
you can't stop crime.
These deep fakes are getting more realer and realer and stuff like by the day. And they're getting people and stuff like more. Remember, I think it was probably like a year ago, you and I were having a debate about, when AI gets these hand things and stuff, whatever, then it's gonna be all over. Fuck, they got like the mouth movement. I saw a full video with like AI talking to people, talking to AI about humans.
Right.
And when I saw that video and stuff, and I was like, I would have thought it was a regular street video and stuff and everything.
I would have too. And I remember the conversation I was saying right now. What's happening right now is, they still need to get the fingers down packed, and everything is too perfect. AI is making things too perfect. Now they've added the imperfections. So it's like, it's really hard to distinguish. And shout out to Blue. I had Blue on another podcast the other day, and we did gave the Sons a shout out, the fact that, he was on 2 podcasts and he's all ready to do the 3rd, because things are moving that quickly that the information that he gave us on the last podcast is outdated. We just had him. We just had, what was it?
Christmas.
Christmas?
Around Christmas
Around
time.
Christmas time?
December time.
That information is outdated.
Yikes. So I feel like it's inevitable, man.
It's inevitable. I'm still gonna try to be optimistic.
To that interview thing with AI, talking AI about humans, are we ready for AI to start thinking on its own? Like Skynet shit.
No, we're not ready.
We're still not ready yet.
We're not ready.
But even with videos and stuff and stuff like this, and the deep fakes and the voice changes, the fake songs, we're still not ready to think that
we're still not ready, because what people are seeing is,
but these things is collecting information.
it's collecting information, and we know it's out there. I think we're just still under the impression that it can't happen to us again, like the hacking situation, right? People are here thinking that I'm just a small fry. It's not going to happen to me. I don't have a lot of money in my bank account. It's not going to happen to me. But no, they're using your information in nefarious ways, right? They're like, your information. I think once it gets a hold of, it's then sold on the dark web, and then it just takes one person to say, okay, I just need a clean ID. They don't care what you've done. Your ID is clean enough; they can just do whatever they want to do with it.
Well, I guess
It's a cold, cold world.
I'm back to being riding on the ships of Pirate Bay again. That's what call you. Yo, is online piracy making a comeback?
Yeah. I think. Listen, I think the whole IPTV shit it's online piracy. People don't want to look at it that way, but it is online piracy.
It is. See, and I look at it stuff as where, I think music. Let's say this. I come from a world of Kazaa, or you guys call it Kaza or something like that. Whatever.
Kazaa,
I call it Kazaa, LimeWire, like all those things and stuff, whatever. And the Pirate Bay.
Those are the original virus givers.
Yeah. Yeah, but still took penitentiary chances and made sweet ass mixtapes. I think with let's say the rise of the music streaming services, it kind of makes sense where it is and stuff, whatever, for like are you gonna chance it to go download possible viruses for one song, or just pay your streaming services to get virus-free content for like the month? Right? That's why I feel like the music side of stuff is safe. Right. The TV movie side, not so much. No. Because I look at it stuff as where, as a consumer, I heard Netflix went up in price. Yes. Right? It's between Netflix and Disney now. And they're like battling and stuff like that. And these prices and stuff are going to slowly raise and stuff like that, whatever. That's why I feel like the internet pirates might come back, because it's kind of like, I was looking for this show. It's a silly ass show. I don't mind watching it again. It's called Workaholics. Okay. I can't find Workaholics on Prime, Netflix, nor Disney Plus. Right. I turn to Google now. Yeah. And Google's saying like, well, we got some episodes here to download from the Bay. Yeah. So I'm like, on to the seas of Pirate Bay or whatever, right? And when I'm looking at stuff now, I'm scratching my head. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to do all of this, because now I have to put up like an IP, like VPN, right, and all this type of stuff. So there's extra legwork to do all these things and stuff, whatever, right? And I look at it stuff as where the streaming services are not providing the services that I fully want, and their prices are raising. Fuck it. Go back into the oceans.
Go back into the oceans. And not only going back into the oceans, but I'm saying, a lot of these IPTV boxes, they're coming with the VPN installed.
Yes. Yes.
Right? So it's really like, at that point, what do you have to lose? You don't have to do all the extra work is already done for you. Mm-hmm. And you literally just got to go and search for whatever you want to search for. Right? So again, and on top of it, they're giving you TV channels with guide. With guide. So, I mean,
yo ho ho with a bottle of scotch. That part. Yo, how much would you, let's say, ultimate streaming TV service? Like we're talking about that might have, like if Netflix, Amazon, and Disney Plus had an orgy. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And they had this ultimate streaming service. How much are you willing to pay to get all of those in one?
No more than $10
a month.
Yeah.
You VPN fucker.
No more than $10 a month.
We know who the IPTV people are. Bad boys, what you want? What you want? All right. I'm done talking. Let me leave that alone. Let's get to the question of the week.
No, okay, we can get there. We can get there.
All right. You ready?
I'm ready.
Question of the week. Is solitude a bad thing?
No.
Solitude is not a bad thing. I feel like it kind of is.
You feel like it is?
Kind of is. Well, okay. Let me ask you this. How much time do you spend alone by yourself?
Daily, I want to say, and only recently, probably maybe 6 to 7 hours
6 or 7 hours?
Yeah.
By yourself.
by myself.
That's a hefty chunk within it. And that's including sleep time.
That's including sleep time.
Huh.
And I say recently because recently I work by myself.
So, okay. Do you interact with people and stuff, whatever, talking like meeting wise, or
Rarely.
like
It's rare.
no one sends you emails, if it'll do phone calls and stuff like that?
It's rare.
In a week, how many like moments would you have and stuff with emails and phone calls interacting with
In
other
a
people?
day,
Yeah.
maybe I want to say maybe between all of that stuff, maybe 5.
5 hours?
No, like
5
maybe
minutes?
5 emails, 5 messages.
Well,
but altogether.
let's say like phone calls, because I want to say like
I don't have a phone.
oh, you don't have a phone
I
in
don't
your
have a
sector.
phone.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So if you need to contact me,
okay.
yeah, if you need to contact me, it's either going to be through emails or it's going to be through Teams.
Because see, I was saying this stuff whatever because like you don't have young kids, right?
Yeah.
So I would say I would have thought for you probably would have had like maybe probably about give or take 3 hours and stuff to yourself and stuff throughout the day. Because I want to say your commute to and fro from work.
Yeah.
Because you don't work too far from where you live.
No.
So I look at it stuff as like let's count that as stuff as like an hour block.
Right.
Right? Where you're just dolo.
Yeah.
And then let's say a downtime where like you might do like editing stuff or, or like even your own personal studio shit or your own businesses and stuff like whatever,
Yeah.
where it's just a you motion.
Yeah.
I would think it's stuff like 3 to 4 hours and stuff, whatever max. But you said like 5 to 6?
5 to 6.
Good for you.
5 to 6.
Now, the reason why I say solitude is a bad thing, because I look at it stuff as where even when you have solitary confinement in prison,
Yeah.
they leave you by yourself not to be interacting stuff, to interact with people.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Now, bring it back further now to like exile.
Okay.
When like your village or whosoever exiled you or stuff, they leave you out there by your damn self and stuff, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Now, you might have an Ernest Hemingway type that might just like, I'm just in this cabin and I'm going to write my thoughts and make the best of my me time and stuff, my alone time.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm not knocking that hustle, but
Yeah.
I just look at it stuff as where.
But you see, when you say solitude, that's what instantly comes to mind. Is that I'm making this effort for being alone time.
And so I feel like a lot of people are doing that.
Yeah.
Because let's say, hey, Smooth, come out and stuff for them. Nah, blah, blah, blah. You cancel plans to lay up in your house and be by yourself and stuff for in your zone.
Yeah.
Right? I look at it stuff as like you're choosing solitude over people interaction.
Yeah.
I feel like when I noticed stuff about myself and stuff today. So today I went to like a function and stuff before I came out and everything to record.
Right.
Right. And I watched, particularly in the room, when people start reaching for their cell phones, they're in their own solitary space of just them in the world. They're in a place where people are around socializing and everything.
Yeah.
But once they get into that like comfort locked in for like at least like a 2 to 3 minutes,
yeah,
that's a solitude type of thing. So you could be with your wife watching a movie, but if you're locked into your phone, you're in your own zone.
Yeah.
Right? So I look at it stuff as where a lot of people are willingly choosing solitude
willingly choosing
over interaction with
willingly
people.
choosing.
You
willingly choosing.
That means so how do we come together when shit like politics, economics, finances and shit like that, and technology is keeping us separate?
For me, I think it's when you realize the issue is too big for you to handle alone, you look for your first and foremost, you'll probably look for your tribe.
If they establish that.
If they've established that. And I think pretty much what, and that's it with the solitude thing, though, right? Because that whole solitude thing, especially jumping into your phone, when you jump into in your phone, I think pretty much majority of people have that, if not tribe, things that they can associate with that pops up within their feed. Or else
Meaning,
they would just be like,
give me an example.
like, for instance, you use your phone long enough on these platforms, the algorithm starts feeding you the content that you want,
Okay.
right? So I would look at that as things that you're basically into, and then your tribe might be formed around that. Now, stepping away from that, you have those that may doom scroll, and in that doom scroll, something maybe out of their feed may pop up.
Mm.
But you would have they would have to be doom scrolling to the point where the algorithm says, "Damn shit, I don't have a content for you right now. Like, you've scrolled through everything that I think that you may like. I'm just gonna throw in a few things here and there until I can just gather more content based on your algorithm."
See, I look at it stuff as where most people today are swapping out memes and messages over a conversation or even a FaceTime.
Right.
Those things I consider more communicating.
Yeah.
Right? Because I don't know if that's you texting on the other side of the bubble.
Right. Right.
Because your bubble, you're like, smooth send message. I send message. Smooth send message. I send message. How would I know it's you?
Well, especially in this day and age when AI can send message.
Bingo.
Especially in this day and age when AI can
And
send
then,
message.
okay, how long that fucking movie came out? Her came out, I swear, like, I want to say 2013. Don't quote me, but I feel like it's 2013 because I remember it was like around the time, a little bit after I got married.
Yeah.
But we thought Her was a far cry, and now we're in 2025 now, and people are talking to ChatGPT way more than they're talking to a person.
Oh, yeah.
So I look at it stuff as where, why do I need to talk to you when I can talk to ChatGPT?
Yeah.
So everybody's choosing solitude on a heavier level than what they're thinking
on a
is.
heavier level, but I still think we're at the point where if it's something that we can see that is going to affect us personally, and we know that it's going to affect other people personally, then we'll go back to that human communication and try and get that like mind, or try and build with that like mind. Because we realize, even though Chat GPT may give us the answers that we're looking for and may be able to hold the conversation, we still understand there's still a level of impersonal there, right? We're still communicating at some point with a machine.
I feel like more people are okay with interacting with impersonal than the personal, because I look at it stuff as where, let's say this.
No, and I don't. I'm not doubting that.
Oh, okay.
But what I'm saying is that when it becomes to specific topics, like, again, like,
what if you got a rash on your ass? You type you're more likely to type it in on ChatGPT or Google.
you're more.
I got a rash on my ass compared to like going to a friend who might be a nurse.
Right. You're more likely to do that, right?
Right.
But if now, let's say a bill comes up where they're gonna say, okay, we're going to grant more internet rights to companies. That doesn't affect ChatGPT. So you're now going to say, well, shit, this is something I need to speak to somebody who I know is going to affect. It's going to be somebody in a human capacity, right? I need to now gather up with that like mind to see, okay, how do we deal with this, right? ChatGPT is going to give me something, but it may not give me something on a personal or a level of humanity, let's say.
That's no, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Because I know they're trying to tweak a few of these like the Chat GPT type engines and stuff, whatever, to that level to add the more human compassion component to it. I look at it stuff as where, like, even the teenagers and stuff now, they like a lot of them, like stats from the stats and stuff, they feel more lonelier than they than they are now,
yeah.
and everything like that, right? I want to say a good portion of like, let's say 30 to 40-year-olds and stuff, whatever, it's like a harder time for them to find partners and everything like. But then again, we have to look at like their past lives, or like not even past lives, but like the past few years
Yeah.
of their life where they kind of just chose solitude to like they're all right. I'm ready to interact with people.
Yeah.
Be like, you've pushed everybody away. So that's why when you were saying the stuff about, oh, they might find their tribe and stuff like that and everything, some people come to a point where they pushed enough people away where it's hard for them to come back from that.
Hard for them to come back.
To find somebody to even interact with and stuff like that to that extent, because it's kind of like, okay, now I need a human element about what do you think about tech and everything like that. Bitch, you didn't call me for little Mikey's birthday or something like that. I don't feel like talking to you about with tech no more. Right?
Yeah.
And now you're looking like, well, you're the only tech person I had in my corner to ask about these things and stuff, whatever. Like, well, you blew it because you weren't human enough, because you chose solitude.
Yeah.
You chose not to interact with us. You chose not to meet up and everything. I know people get mad comfortable with like, plans canceled. Oh, thank God. I hear some people's like, oh, I don't gotta drive downtown, or I don't gotta go here.
Yeah.
And they're just okay with that eventually, till it comes to a point where like they have nobody.
With that, you think it's you think it may be partly to do with having a set portion of your life where all you did was interact, and now you're kind of like saying, okay, you know what, I need to pull back from that and be more into myself. I need to maybe find me. I don't know if that's maybe the right thing, but I may need to find me, because in this whole interaction with everybody else, I lost me. Because sometimes I feel like that. Sometimes I feel like my solitude is needed in order to find me, because I spent a lot of years interacting with people and maybe giving too much of myself to people.
So do you think in a day-to-day world, right? Let's say you given, we'll ballpark a number. Let's say you given 5 steady years, equivalent, to people, right? Do you think you need 5 steady years to like catch back up, to make it balance, to break even? And the reason why I'm asking you that is because in that 5 steady years you were giving people, you still were fighting the solitude times for yourself.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say I would give it. I wouldn't give it a necessary time frame as to find myself, only to know that I gotta find myself, and however long that may take, it may be a few days, it may take a year, but I gotta be comfortable to the point where I can say, you know what, I can now rejoin society without losing myself.
And I think that's the thing, whatever, right? I look at the stuff as like, there's no harm in taking, let's say, out of a month.
Yeah.
I want to say, to be honest, out of a month, if you like, you have a partner, you might have children, you work a job where you have to go in office and stuff, or interact with people and everything like that. I feel like within a month, you at least need like equivalent to, let's say, 2 days of solitude, like 48 hours of solitude and stuff, whatever, equivalent to yourself, because the world still spins.
Yeah.
Your partner will still need you. Your children will still need you.
Yeah.
Things will need, like at work, will still need your presence or your finesse to these things and stuff, whatever. But I think a lot of people and stuff are just straight pulling away without like some kind of attachment and stuff, whatever, to it, and then still think that the world still going to be the same when they decide to plug back in.
I'll give you a good example for that. So when I was growing up, being a DJ, right? I would party maybe a Monday, maybe a Tuesday, but definitely a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, just playing music. Sometimes an occasional Sunday, depending on wherever I'm playing at, right?
So the Wednesday would be your off day?
Would be my off day.
Okay.
Right? During those periods, I can tell you I probably would know anywhere between 30 to 45% of the people that may be in those spots.
Okay.
Because of my constant interaction with them, right?
Right.
Then I stopped being a DJ and still going out. So I would say it would be less because I'm
Cut
not
down.
going out as frequently.
Right,
but
right,
there's
right.
still people that I would recognize because they're doing the same thing. Unwinding, weekend come, you want to go out, you want to unwind. So I would see those regulars who are unwinding, right?
Right.
To the point where I wasn't going out at all.
Mhm.
Fast forward to present day time. I went to I went to an event last week, and don't get me wrong, I enjoyed my time being out there, being amongst real people, seeing people enjoy themselves.
Mhm.
But I can tell you, I probably know maybe like apart from the person who invited me, 2 other people, and every face in there was brand new to me, as I'm sure my face was brand new to them.
Right, because these people might be regulars that plug themselves in every weekend.
Exactly.
When you would just be a place that plug yourself once every 5 or
Right,
yeah,
right.
so to speak.
Exactly. So then that it just goes back to what you're saying. It's like I'm now returning to it,
Mm.
and no of those faces to me are familiar.
Mhm.
Whereas again, if I'm constantly there, then those faces become familiar, and at least not the the typical crowd. And if granted, there's few spots where I'll go to where I know they draw out people like me, and I would say Junior Jones is one of those promoters where a lot of people who don't regularly go out will go to his events. So I'll see the familiar faces at those events because they're just like me,
Mhm.
right? I don't have time to do every event, but the big events or the special events, I might go out there and do.
I don't know. For me, like with technology,
Mhm.
with technology and stuff, whatever. And I thought about this and stuff, whatever, like a few years back, where let's say in the early 2000s, like when I came here to Canada,
Yeah.
I used to take the Greyhound.
Okay.
So I used to take the Greyhound before I said, you know what, fuck it, let me just drive, whatever. I could have Greyhound layovers just to kill me.
Yeah.
And I used to see the Amish people, and I never really understood the Amish people and stuff to that level.
Right.
And I always looked at it as stuff as where you have a set people that kind of remove themselves from like the technology aspect and stuff, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then I think there's a few Amish places and stuff in Ohio
Mhm.
that like sell furniture, sell certain type of things and stuff like that, whatever. And I seen like some of the technology. I saw an Amish guy like use like a buzz saw,
Okay.
right? I'm like, what the hell? What the
Right.
hell, Leontay? I was like, but the thing and stuff is they put a filter into the amount of technology that they would use.
They'll use, yeah.
And when I thought about it, whatever, I said, let me put a filter on the technologies that I would use to kind of, I want to say, so to speak, kind of keep me sane or keep me regular.
That's good.
Compared to like certain people and stuff, it's kind of like, yo, give it to me all, whatever, right? Like even like, let's say with you, like the editing softwares and everything, you just take it all, but then certain things what happen, like, you know, like where like certain things might not get edited off or might not get fixed and stuff, whatever. And I'm like, there should be like a filter where people should just say like, all right, I'm gonna fuck with this new technology.
Right.
Let me just see how this goes before I add something new. Like, remember there was a commercial where the guy, I think he did a dental work. Everything in his house was like by voice activated. And then he did something dental and stuff and he couldn't talk properly. So it's like, door open, normal. When he's coming back, they remove the two, door open.
It ain't
And
working.
they start raining and thunderstorming and stuff on him. I'm like, my man, you got too much technology going on.
Yeah.
You need to filter some of this shit little bit by bit, whatever, right? Because I'm like looking like we're removing the human act, the human element from a lot of things.
Yeah.
Where that's the reason why, yo, in order to be a human, you have to have humanity. And some motherfuckers do not have the humanity piece.
They don't.
Especially if they're all the way plugged into this thing and stuff, whatever. Do you still consider yourself human?
That's it. That's it. I mean, yeah, it's funny because even with the like, even when you say like when mention this stuff like with in regards to the editing, right? When I do the editing, like there's software out there that can do what I do, but then it doesn't. There's certain things that it still has not mastered. And I don't feel like what we're doing, it's like, no, there's a certain level that it has to meet and it has to get to, right? So I'll use the software to that point where it can take me, but then I'll still it's cut down on my time a lot. But then I still will go in there because just like you said, that human element, there's certain things that has to just have that touch that it can't do quite as yet. But my business, our business is not going to suffer because it cannot do that yet, because I can still do it. So if I can still do it, I'm going to still do it. Right. And it's just, I think it's that where people need to understand that, yes, these technologies can do these things, but it's still going to grasp. It's still going to take like the human element. Just going back to the whole Timbo argument with the whole AI stuff. Yeah, AI can make music, but what it's making out, it's still crap unless somebody who knows what they're really doing can go in there and take it from where it stopped and say, okay, now let me just finish it. Let me get it to where it needs to go. So yeah, there's still that human interaction is still needed, man. For now.
No, I'm with it.
For now, the apocalypse is around the corner. It's not here yet.
Yeesh. Ay caramba. Let's get to the Axe of Suns,
The
man.
scary thing is that Blue said he thinks the singularity might reach by the end of the year.
I don't doubt that. And that's what I'm saying. Like, we need to be prepared for these things to start thinking on its own. That video, to me, it was so scary in one element, because I'm looking like, oh, these are what they're thinking about us. But then again, we're the ones plugging in information to them. Why wouldn't it study you? Like even ChatGPT, I use it a few times and stuff for them to be like, oh, you want us to start collecting that? I'm like, no. We're gonna put a filter on the shit you know about me. Matter of fact, let me go to DeepSeek now. Let me try DeepSeek for a bit, whatever. They don't know shit about me. And I'll try something else stuff to get my answer and stuff. But then other people and stuff is just plugged in. Right? And like this is all they know. Cause I think like ChatGPT has like how many they could do per day for free. And some people and stuff, they hit that like you've reached your free limit for the day, come back in 24 and stuff. I haven't hit that limit yet.
Okay.
So I look at the stuff as where I'm not constantly talking to that because I like people. Right? But then you hear a common rhetoric and stuff, a lot of people don't like people. So what are they replacing the not like people with? But pets and technology. All
Soon
right.
you'll be able to have a robo pet.
No, they have Tamagotchis. Stop this. They've been here. Let's get to Ask the Sons.
Go ahead.
First Ask the Sons comes from TrainRadio. What things in porn actually happens in real life?
The train.
The choo-choo?
The choo-choo. The choo-choos. The choo-choos happen in real life.
The
choo-choos been happening in real life.
I was gonna say the pizza with the extra sausage.
The pizza with extra
like, they still get delivered in real life. They still get delivered, and every now and then a plumber might get called over or something like that to clear some pipes. You know, pun intended. Next question comes from ClarissaDaGal. What's one thing you stopped doing that instantly made your life better?
Smoking weed.
Smoking weed.
Yeah.
Okay, talk about it.
Yeah.
No more brain fog?
No more brain fog.
Okay.
I do more stuff when I don't. I'm not as lethargic. And I dream, and I love dreaming. When I smoke, I can't dream for some reason.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, for some reason, it's not that I can't. It's just it's very infrequent, and I notice. And I haven't totally stopped. Right, there'll be times where I'll say, okay, you know what, let me just.
Boss, I cut weed and I put on weight. I was like, this shit has been crazy. I think the last time I had a decent smoke was probably maybe a day or two after like my birthday itself.
Okay.
Like beginning of May.
Yeah.
When I was out from like the weed that my peoples gave me and stuff for that, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just do this and stuff like that, whatever, right? Because I look at it stuff as where eventually I want to save my lungs.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, I'm getting obese. And then I was like, but I'm not smoking to that frequency. So yeah.
Really? I don't thought because they tend to say you get the munchies and you eat more. So you find yourself gaining more weight.
Mm-hmm. I think for me, munchies would kick in.
Yeah.
If I have an edible.
Okay.
If I have an edible,
yeah,
like I feel like a dirty slut. Like I'll eat Doritos or Oreos or something like that, or like just a dead. Like I was like, I feel sorry for the toilet the next day.
Gosh.
Like I'm dead as slut. Like I feel like that would, but like with weed itself, whatever. Like no, I feel like for me, creativity flows.
Yeah.
Better level of sleep, but then I do realize and stuff. Whatever. Like now, like I think I'm more calmer than ever.
Okay.
And I don't want to say it's the weed and stuff, but I think it's just like my decisions, my life, and my surroundings, my environment.
Right.
I've created something and stuff, whatever. You are the master of your universe, like what He-Man was saying and stuff, whatever.
Yeah.
So I realized and stuff, I'm like, yo, if this is not working for me, why? I need to fix it. It's like accountability piece.
Yeah.
And then once I look at it and stuff, I'm like, okay, now I'm getting to sleep. Because remember, like I think we talked about like what keeps you up at night, whatever.
Right.
What wakes me up early in the morning, those chirping birds. That's it. It's like if I shut my eyes now, I'm waking up to the chirping birds.
You're good.
Yeah.
Okay. Dope. Well, not dope.
Punk ass birds, man. I'm turning to Elmer Fudd on a punk asses.
Don't shoot the birds. Don't shoot the birds.
I think for me, one thing that I stopped doing, I think stop caring about what other people think.
Okay.
And I think that was an aspect of stuff in my world where I didn't really care too much for, in a way, I was 50-50 about caring about status.
Yeah.
Like I look at stuff as where people take my words a little bit more serious now because now, I have education behind it and stuff like that, whatever, right?
Right.
And people will look at me a type of way because I carry myself a particular way and stuff, whatever, right? I don't give a fuck what you think now.
Right.
I don't give a damn what people think and stuff. They can think whatever they want. It doesn't govern Marvin.
Yeah.
Can care less.
That's good.
Okay. Last question comes from FairyDusta.
FairyDusta.
What's universally loved, but you secretly hate?
I wouldn't say hate, but lately I'm not really too fond of mangoes.
Mangoes?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What changed your perspective?
I don't know. It's just like, and my wife, she's Google Gaga. That's like that's probably her favorite fruit.
I buy Frogan's mangoes in a bag.
Yeah.
I'll just throw the bitches in the cup. Like I use those as ice cubes.
Yeah.
With specific drinks now.
Okay.
So I don't use ice cubes. I'll just use mangoes.
Yeah.
Pour like either a little scotch.
Okay.
We have tariffs, so no more bourbons.
No more bourbons.
Just whiskeys, or in Canada they have rye.
I'll try. I'll try it.
Yeah,
I'll try it. But to say like I'm gonna go out and buy mangoes to eat, nah.
Universally, okay. I saw it today. Yes, universally loved. They don't mind men with purses. I fucking hate men with purses.
Yeah, I can't rock with that.
I don't know. It's something that just grinds my gear when I see a guy with like something across his chest.
Yeah.
And he's trying to walk manly with it. I'm like, you're not Indiana Jones. It's not a satchel.
Your pops and my brother were famous for those back in the day.
Yeah, I called them out for that shit too.
They were famous for that back in the day.
I called them out for that. Hell, even when my father passed and stuff, whatever.
Right.
I see one of those things and stuff. I'm like, this bitch is not coming to me. Oh, hell to the no. I passed that bitch right to the left. I passed that shit so fast. I was like, hell no, I'm not taking this. Gone. Next. Nope. But I'm not carrying no satchels.
No satchels?
No satchels. No. Hold on. You want gum? Mm-hmm.
Which is weird because men were the first to carry purses.
Yeah?
Yeah, satchels was a man thing.
So what about women? What did they carry?
The women didn't carry anything. The men held all the tools. Men had all the money. They were the ones with the satchels.
Or even like a little handkerchief, little tampon, or maxi pad just for the time.
So the times.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah. And then life got easier for men, and they didn't need to carry shit. And then they're like,
Women had to carry everything.
Let's be complicated. We want to be equal to the women and stuff, and let's get purses too. I got a Gucci man purse. Fuck up, man. Don't get me started. I secretly hate it. I openly hate it. And that's my mark for the day. I'm good now. All right.
Did you ever have one of those? Did you ever have a fanny pack when they were in?
I never bought one.
Okay.
Somebody gave it to me.
Okay.
They gave it to me and stuff, whatever. And then I think back then, I think they tried to make me to an old man very early because the fanny pack, I remember, it had a harmonica in it. Yo, there's like they wanted me to go by the creek and just zip it up and put it.
Wild. Get a harmonica with a fanny pack.
Yo, I was like, what the fuck is this? And I didn't know how to play the harmonica. I was a kid. It's waste of time. Waste of time. I'm glad I grew into the man that I am now.
Yeah.
Minus the harmonica. All right, man. Let's see what the Soul Say the Sons slide, man.
We're here.
Soul Say the Sons this week says, expect nothing, appreciate everything.
So says the Sons.
I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory. I think we need to stop thinking that somebody's coming to save us, somebody's going to do something for us, or we're entitled to something. Like, no. If you get the help, you get the blessings, you get the bonuses, appreciate that
Appreciate
shit.
it.
Not everybody might get them. Some people are dying to eat what you're snacking on.
Yeah. That's 100%.
So say the Sons. Expect nothing, appreciate everything.
Yes, sir.
We appreciate y'all from rocking with us.
Of course, all the time.
We don't expect y'all.
No.
We appreciate that you guys sit here and ponder these thoughts and stuff with us and these convos with us.
If it had just turned out to just be one, we appreciate that one.
Hell yeah. I appreciate the one. We see you.
Yeah, that's it.
My hero. My heroine. The other.
Healer.
The pronouns. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Like, comment, subscribe, folks. All of the above. All streaming platforms possible. And you can, once again, all on the socials, hit us and stuff, whatever, for the Ask the Sons. Keep sending them in. We appreciate you guys. And keep it coming. Thank you once again for listening to the Podical Sons. Remember, the difference between genius and stupidity is that genius
got its limits.
Stupidity don't.
Take that.
Peace and love, y'all. Y'all be great out there, man.
Peace and love.
The Podical Sons with Not Your Average Joseph and Sofa King Marvelous.